Oh, welcome to All Irish Sport. I'm delighted to be joined by John Kavanagh, and we're here speaking about the upcoming PFL and Bellator event coming up. But John, I suppose firstly, how are you today?
Very good, and it's a pleasure to speak with a fellow Dallas man.
Oh man, yeah. Well, listen, Carl Moore's fighting, and I know you're training him. He's coming up against Corey Addison, who's fought some really big names in the UFC and stuff like that. Some huge names. So I suppose talk to me kind of how you're feeling going into that one.
Yeah, Carl is on a great run at the moment. He's had some great success. I think his last win against Pelosi is going to really stand to him. Pelosi's an excellent wrestler, as is Corey. Maybe a little bit smaller than Corey, but we have a great head of momentum going into this one, and it's in his hometown. It's in Belfast. Many years ago, when Carl was only starting off with me, he said he was going to win a world title in Belfast. I don't know how he predicted that or saw that. There wasn't even really big shows going to Belfast, but the stars aligned. And on this return, rather than Bellator going to their usual home in the Tree Arena, he's dragged them up to Belfast. I'm very excited about that. My wife's in Belfast. I go to Belfast a lot. And to have an opportunity to walk Carl out to that crowd, I can only imagine what it's going to be like on the night. It's going to be electric. And, obviously I hope, and we're working towards Carl getting his hand raised at the end of becoming world champion.
Well, I mean, he's coming up against people who are say in Corey, who's been a champion like Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira and stuff like that. He's coming off a 4-fight win streak. So momentum, I suppose, is on his side.
Yeah, look, Corey's had some great success as well. I think he's changed his style up a bit. He's very, very fit. He never takes a back step. We have to be at our best. I just finished a very tough training session with Carl there, and he got to move around with Johnny Walker, who's actually faced Corey himself, and Big Will Fleury put as well. So I can tell you that he is very, very fit, very, very mentally strong. He's ready to give his best and give the Belfast crowd something to cheer about.
No, look, I know pretty much every interview you get asked about Conor, but like, do you see some sort of that kind of mindset, where he kind of visualized going and headlining an event in his hometown, and kind of now he's going to do that type thing? And I imagine you wouldn't feel like he couldn't go and do it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy there. I hadn't even thought of that myself. And both southpaws as well, both dangerous with their hands and legs. But I do believe that for some fighters, the magnitude of a home event can cause them to wilt, can actually be draining on them. And then you get the odd rare guy that extra cheer. And I'm reminded of Carl versus Carl in Dublin, and he was in a lot of trouble early on. And I love watching that fight back. His father there, the crowd going wild. And what does Carl do? He picks himself up, he gets the takedown, takes the back, gets the choke, 10,000 people on their feet. So that's what I'm kind of visualizing this fight. There certainly will be tough moments. Corey is very, very experienced, very technical, very strong everywhere. Carl's going to have to go through hell. That's the mindset I have him going into this. Nothing is going to come easy here. He's going to have to go into tough spots and really be able to use his mindset that he has. And those 10,000 Belfast people screaming him on, I think that will be, we have almost like a third guy in the cage here.
Yeah, I look, I've been to so many of the events in the Tree Arena, and they've been brilliant. I love the whole, I suppose, event and everything about it. I know it's coming to Belfast for the first time in so many years. What do you think the crowd can expect as an overall event?
Well, this card is what I call a Cogan card. It has the Mike Cogan stamp on it. You could run your hand through this card and just stop anywhere, and that fight has significance and it's exciting. There's really, whether you're going into this event, you like watching guys that stand in the middle and throw shots, you have those fights. You've got grappling fights. You've got, James Gallagher's on there against a very aggressive Brazilian fighter. And I don't think James has fought in Belfast for a long time. I'm sure that walkout's going to be electric. I'm just looking over here at the card. 2 world title fights. The Irish crowd I feel are somewhat spoiled by Bellator. Now it's all falling under the one umbrella of PFL, but it is a Bellator show. 2 world title fights and a title eliminator fight in the great Fabian Edwards. He came close last time. He's got a tough Canadian. If he can get past him, he will also fight for the belt. Maybe we'll have a scenario where you have 2 brothers one with the UFC title and one with the Bellator title. So as a fan, I have 4 fighters on the card, but as a fan, I'm looking forward to being able to sneak out the front and watch a few of those fights as well.
Yeah, because I just reading on my notes there, like the Champions Series is to consist of 8 star-studded and a global fight there as well.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's not like they're coming here and just matching locals. You know, they really are bringing the cream of the crop of both shows now. We have crossover from PFL to Bellator now, which I think the only winner in that. Well, I like to see the fighters staying busy, but also the crowd get to see these interesting matchups. You have Dublin's Nathan Kelly, young Nate the Great, and then we have Nathan Kelly. Nathan Kelly is a PFL fighter on an amazing run with them, and they saw fit and let him go over to Bellator for the night. I'm looking forward to seeing him, and he gets to throw elbows. He doesn't throw elbows with PFL. Now he gets to hit a few people with elbows. And young Nate the Great starting the night off with an amateur fight, someone that we've all seen almost grow up in front of our eyes, and to see him now becoming a man and start to get that experience of walking out to big arenas for his inevitable crossover to the pro game. You know, not non-fighters to do with me. I love watching the likes of Luke Traynor, Alfie Davis from London Shoot Fighter. He's impossible for him to be in a boring fight. So it really is. And then you have, of course, I call him the Mira Hadrada, Kieran Clark, looking to keep that unbeaten streak going as well.
Yeah, well, I was actually at the last PFL in the Tree Arena, and I got to see a good few of them, and the night was unbelievable. There was a great buzz in the arena, and obviously then so many lads won as well. But for you, I suppose, Nate the Great, it must be amazing for you to kind of see people like that come up on their journey, and you know, because you remember him kind of shouting out on the microphone all those years ago. It might have been 10 years ago, maybe more, or less. But that type of stuff, and then they come in and, you know, you see them gone and they're winning fights and stuff like that. That must be cool for you to see a little bit of an evolution.
It reminds me how, I guess, old I'm getting. The amount of guys I've had come through that were teenagers, amateur, they switched to pro, then they announced to me that their girlfriend's pregnant, now they're dad. So I'm seeing this cycle the whole time. So here's another one. Nate the Great, he's right at the beginning of that. And I love the fact that PFL are starting to give some of the amateur guys the ability to walk out and experience that big show feeling while they're kind of, let's say, somewhat finishing off their amateur career. It's a great transition, because for a lot of guys, they might be doing amateur fights in a kind of a school hall type setting, and then suddenly their pro debut is in this big show, and it can be overwhelming. So I love the fact that they're what do we say, blooding the hounds. You know, they're somewhat getting them used to that a bit earlier than usual.
You're probably blue in the face talking about it, but Conor, is there any update on a return for him? I've heard little bits here and there, but there's been nothing really concrete. Is there anything coming in the next?
I don't have anything concrete for you either. I'm sure for journalists it's frustrating, but I actually know what you know. I'm seeing the same sound bites go out there. I'm seeing various dates being offered. I go to New York next week. I'm sure I'll see Conor out there. I'm probably going to be at the premiere for Roadhouse on Tuesday, and yeah, I'm looking. I'll be asking the same questions as you.
If you like, if it was to come to it, is there anyone you would specifically, can you speak, like to see him face?
Short answer, no. But I mean, the Michael Chandler fight has a lot of steam behind it at this stage. I think that seems to be the betting favorite.
Okay. And just Johnny Walker as well. Is there anything going on with him coming up in the immediate future?
He's set. He's thrown out a few names there that his management team is pushing with the UFC. So let's see. But I don't think it'll be until later in the summer. He's at the moment he's experienced the other side of it now. He's kind of the punch bag for Carl Moore, who has this big fight coming up, and then Will Furry with his Octagon debut coming up soon as well. So he's just being that good training partner. He's helping those guys peak, and then we'll sit down when we get something concrete from him from the UFC.
I think he was doing that as well for Thomas Carty, was he, last week?
That's right, yeah, and he'd be in Mayo with Thomas. Thomas is fighting this weekend in boxing in Mayo, and Johnny, I believe, will be in his corner for that. Will certainly be added in support. Thomas has been amazing for us over the years as a training partner.
No Carty, no party.
No Carty. No party.
That's the one. But it was like, I just got to finish off here shortly. But just on the whole MMA scene itself for yourself, how do you find time? I think you just had another kid, or you've another kid on the way. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, young Patrick was born 2 weeks ago on Saturday. So
Congratulations.
thank you very much. But I will openly say that Orla is certainly doing the brunt of that work. She's doing all the night feeds. She knows I have to be in the gym every day early, and we've a lot of big fights coming up. So she's taking care of it. She takes all the pressure off me. And then young Connell, he's 3.5 now. I seem to be just a punch bag for him. He just wants to wrestle me every time he sees me. So I do that. But, other than that, I try not to get overwhelmed thinking about what's coming up. I just know that today I had some meetings this morning. I had a team training session at 11. I had a few spars set. And then just before I come on this call, we had a really tough 5x5 push between Carl, Johnny, and Will. And then I had these interviews. So I just do the jobs as they arise. Don't get too worried about what's happening tomorrow or the day after. I did my best today. I'll go to bed tonight happy.
Absolutely. I think now the focus is going to be over the next kind of week and so, leading on to the 22nd, where the night of Bellator on Friday, March 22nd in Belfast. And if anyone watching this wants tickets, you can get your tickets at ticketmaster.ie. John, I just want to say,
I was just going to say, I really want to push people to go along. It's great watching shows on the TV, but as you've probably experienced yourself, there's nothing quite like being in the arena. And it's the first time for a big show to be coming back to Belfast, not coming back with a small card, or coming back with 2 title fights and a really interesting preliminary card. So get the ticket. See you on the night.
Yeah. Well, John, listen, as someone who has watched your kind of rise over the last 10, 15 years, it's amazing to properly meet you, and thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Paul.